Hello everyone, today we're going to go through FMCSA process of opening MC and DOT number. I'm going to show you step by step what I do in the online application and what I recommend doing and recommend not doing processing the MC DOT number. So let's get to it. So first of all, we're gonna go on this page. I'm gonna link it under the video so you can have it, and it's a tricky way to get to the opening MC DOT number. So basically when you Google, right, there is a lot of advertising companies that are doing the opening for you, which is not bad, but sometimes they can be very pricey. So here's the first link, Get Operating Authority and FMCSA. So we go down a little bit here, and then we go for apply for authority, and you're gonna have a link here to register. So we click on it, and down here you're gonna read all of this and press I understand, proceed to registration. So now we are going to login.gov. So login.gov is a unified system for FMCSA that was created to get more securement to the website. So basically on this website, you're gonna do FMCSA portal login, you're gonna do clearinghouse through this login, you also can do PSP login through this website. PSP is where you can check driver's record with the inspections that they got on the different companies. So yeah, this is gonna be your login, so keep it secured. And I really love what they did because they created and of course did two-factor authentication, which is great nowadays with all the scams going on. So you go here for the first time, you create an account. I would recommend getting a new email, completely new email for the company. But if you already have your personal and you want to attach it, that's up to you. But you're going to get a lot of scam, a lot of messages, a lot of filtering to do, because through all those messages, you're gonna have to collect your own data, right? If you use your personal one, the spam that comes to the email, and also on that email will come first FMCSA audit report. So you're gonna have to catch that through the spam, and you definitely have to filter it. So I would create a new email, and let's say you're gonna enter your email. Let's do mine right here. I read and accept the login.gov rules and submit. So I'm gonna get an email right now saying that I already have account with this platform. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna receive the same email right here, and you're gonna click create password. You're gonna create password, set up two-factor authentication. I recommend text message. It's gonna offer you to do 2, so make sure you do 2. I did text message and backup codes. Backup codes is usually easy to lose, but you have to make sure maybe add it in your notes so you have them in case, let's say, your phone number get disconnected or you change it or something happened to it, you at least have the other way to log into your website. Otherwise, you will have to delete an account, wait 24 hours, confirm through email in 24 hours that you want to delete it, and then you can register again. But there's always a way. So we're going back to this website and we do use another login. We sign in now with my original login that I already have. And now we're getting the code. So I got the code, I'm entering it here. Nobody's gonna ask you for this code. Nobody doing any permits, any setups, brokers. Nobody will ever need this code. So this is your only, this is your personal code. Don't share it until you really know that the person is logging in to do some reports for you or anything like this. Be extremely aware because trucking business is full of scams. So when you get phone calls or emails after you open MCDOT, you're gonna get a lot of those saying that you missed to pay this. If you don't pay this in 24 hours, your company is gonna shut down. If you, whatever it is, it's all lies. And I'm gonna guide you step by step. So after opening an MCDOT, you're gonna be bombarded with all these phone calls and emails. So you have to be ready. Do not give any card information, any accounting routing number, and I guarantee you your company will not be shut down in 24 hours or a couple hours. All those people are targeting people who don't know yet, and they're trying to make money. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it should be done like this. I don't think anyone should be forced to buy anything. So we definitely can report it to FMCSA, but usually those people can call because it's a public record and there's nothing that can be done. So let's get to it. So it's showing it's been a year since you gave us a consent, so I'm gonna give a consent here for the website and waiting for this to load. Okay, perfect. So as you are not going to be a third party in this case scenario, you're just going to have to press no and go next. So here's your whole application process. This is the thing that you're going to go through, and I'm going to show you step by step what to press. So we're a new applicant. Let me do this. New applicant. Next, that's going to be a lot of rules, a lot of explanation here. You have to file a BOC3 form, and you also have to file a UCR. We're going to get to that after this video. Here they are explaining how to navigate this website, so we press next. What you will need to process this application: the EIN number, or Social Security, the address for the street, and if it's Dunn and Bradstreet number, and company officers with the titles. So we have all of that. For financial responsibility, they mean insurance here. So yes, insurance company, whenever you get it, will have to file with FMCSA to get the filings posted on FMCSA so your company becomes active. Next. Here they're just saying that they are authorized to collect this information, and your information will be used publicly. So this is a public record and everybody can see your phone number and address and everything. So that's why I'm always saying to my clients, make sure that you put the phone number there that you probably don't use every day, so it's going to be your second number. Usually I recommend, if you don't have another phone number and you are not going to start operating yet, you can open a Google Voice, and it's going to be for free. The only thing that I mentioned that I saw with Google Voice, that they only allow Google Voice to be assigned to the already established email. So if you created a new email for this application, it's probably not going to be allowing you to do the Google Voice. Also, you can get another phone number, which is great. So you have to be ready for getting a lot of phone calls, a lot of scam phone calls, a lot of phone calls that's gonna say that your MC duty will be suspended tomorrow and stuff. So get ready for that, and that's why I'm saying do not put your personal phone number in there because it's gonna hurt. Better to get a phone number for that or get a Google Voice. So let's go next. It's going to be assigned your personal application ID number. So let's say if something happened and you cannot finish right now, or you have to close it, you can save it and return again. So here's your application number, and it's going to be your saved in your login.gov portal. Let's go next. FMCSA would like to collect contact information for the person completing this form. So whoever is completing this form will have to put their information in there. Usually I put there the owner's information. Let's go next. So here we go. Let's start the process. So first of all, either it's going to be applicant representative or company contact. I usually choose company contract, and let's say it's going to be John. Last name is Smith. Okay, so let's enter the address. This is not a real address, but it's a real address, but it's not, nobody's living there. But I just want to make sure it's a legit address, because if you choose to do a mailbox or something, it's not going to work. FMCSA is no longer letting you choose those addresses, and it's going to give you error, and you would not, but nobody is living there. The only thing that you have to make sure that the address you're using is real and it's not a mailbox, because FMCSA does not allow it anymore, and they're just going to block the application. It's going to give you a constant error that you cannot proceed. And let's say I had this happen to me before. If you have an error on application and it says that the address is not real, but you know it's in real office or anything, you will have to reach out to the FMCSA, and I'll list their number below. And you also contact them by chat, online chat, through working hours, of course, and they can assist you with this issue. They probably can fix it from their side. So let's go here, enter the zip code. 48. Okay, perfect. And now let's enter the phone number. It's going to be United States. I'm going to enter my phone number. And let's go. You don't need to enter a cell phone or fax, but you can. And of course, email. Safety. .com. And it's gonna ask you to re-enter the email. Safety. You see, that's why it's happening. You have to enter the right email. safetymanagementcorp@gmail.com. And preferred contact method, I always do both. So let's say if something gets lost in the email, I will get it anyway by mail. So that's how it should look. No middle name. Let's go next. You see, the application will validate the entered address with the USP. In this event, USPS finds a matching address. The address will be changed to utilize, but it's also going to check if it's a mailbox. FMCSA need to capture your business details. Let's go next. So does this application have Dan and Bradstreet number? No. This is something that you usually will know if you have it, so most of the time it's a no. Legal business name, Safety Management Inc. So now we have to enter the legal name. Let's say Trucking Company Inc. Let's go next. Doing business as. If you have DBA, you enter it right here, but if you don't, you just go next. So DBA is usually used. You can have, let's say, let's say you can have a long name for the company and you're doing the business under May Trucking or something. So that's when you can do a DBA, but it should be legally listed on your Articles of Incorporation or LLC paperwork. Is the applicant's principal place of business is the same as contact's address? Yes. If it's different, let's say if a contact person for the application is different, then you put no here and you enter it. That way it's gonna ask you for the address for the business, but if it's the same, you press yes. Now we have the same business address and same mailing address. You can usually enter the different mailing address. I saw this happening in the big tall building offices where they have a different mailbox number, so watch out for this. Make sure your address is correct for the mailing. And let's go next. Again, it's checking my address if it's a legit address, and then we'll have to enter the business phone number for the business. So it's going to be my phone number, and there you can put a fax number and you can put a cell number. I usually put the only one there. Now we're gonna enter an EIN number or Social Security. So if you have a company, LLC or Inc., you're gonna enter the EIN number. So let's see. Open a trucking company for hire. It does not qualify as a unit of government. Business description, you enter here LLC or corporation or LLP or sole proprietor. Usually it's an LLC or corporation, and it doesn't even require you to choose a state anymore. Next, now you have to choose here who is business owned by. Is it a US citizen or it's a citizen of another country? So I'm a citizen, so I'm gonna choose this one, but you can also choose owner of another citizen country, and you can choose, it doesn't even ask you to choose anymore. Cut. So here it's gonna ask you what country of the citizenship are you as an owner. So you can choose United States or another country, and usually it's not gonna even, you see it's disappearing, so they're not even gonna check what country you're from. They're gonna let you open the company. Now you have to enter a company contact. So I usually enter the owner, John Smith, title, president, email, safetymanagementcorp@gmail.com, and we again enter the business phone number. Next. So here is a company contact address. It's going to be the same as we entered on the application. Unit 1015, and we're going to enter the zip code 48, and it's going to be Illinois. Okay, it got it. Let's press next. Again, USPS is checking if this is a legit address, which is great. Now it's gonna give you a breakdown of what you just filled out, so you can check if anything here is missing or maybe entered incorrectly. Or extension, right? If it's an office phone number, you have to enter extension. Okay, let's go next. So here they're gonna explain that they're gonna need to get your details about the type of operations you're going to perform, if it's going to be a broker, freight forwarder, cargo tank facility, a motor carrier of passengers. So we're going to get to it right now. So here's also shows at 27%. This is a part of the application that has been filled out. Will the applicant operate as intermodal equipment? It's funny because it's even showing here an image of the intermodal equipment. So if it's a regular trucking company, usually it's a no. But again, depends on the specification of your business. Next, will applicant transport property? Yes, of course. Will the applicant receive compensation? Yes. Belonging to other. Compensation like for the transporting property belonging to other, yes. What type of property will the applicant transport? Hazardous materials. Usually you have to choose hazardous if you transport cars, because it's not listed as hazardous, but it's a class 9 non-bulk, so you will have to choose hazardous. But here we go, we're gonna choose other non-hazardous, right? If it's a drive-in, flatbed, reefer, Conestoga, and so on. Exempt commodities is usually for goods, fruits, vegetables, and other items of a little or no value. And household is usually, it's giving you the description, so it's easy to choose what is actually you need. So usually you choose other non-hazardous freight. Will the applicant transport non-hazardous materials across state lines, otherwise known as interstate commerce? Yes. So again, depending on the type of operation you're going to perform, but usually you will need this interstate, but usually you will need to have an interstate carrier to get an MC number. So we're going to choose yes, but also again, depends on your business structure. Usually you will need it. If you go all over the state, you will need this. Will the applicant transport their own property? I usually put the no here because usually you book a load through the broker or through the shipper, and usually you do not transport your own property. But if you do, you have to mark yes here, and I'm gonna go with no. Will the applicant transport any passengers? It doesn't mean in the cabin. It just means generally if the applicant will transport passengers, like for transporting and getting paid for that, so it's a no. Will the applicant provide property of household goods, broker services? So if you're applying for broker, this is what you choose here. You choose yes. But I would choose just no because we're not planning to apply as a broker. And let's say if you want to be a broker and a commercial carrier, I would do it separately. I would not put it under the same MC DOT number, because if your carrier has a brokerage MC too, the other brokers would not really much like it because they would maybe think you can double broker things, so I would do it separately. So it's a no. Will the applicant provide freight forwarder services? No. Again, depends on your operation, but usually it's a no. Will the applicant operate a cargo tank facility? In our case, no. If it's a drive-in, flatbed, Conestoga, regular reefer, regular loads that you usually work with a regular trucking company. Will the applicant operate as a towaway? Usually it's a no, but if you have that in plan, you can press yes. But you will need special equipment and special truck for that to comply with all the regulations. And here they are. Let's press next. So here you can choose the cargo that you will be transporting. So let's say if you're transporting cars, you're going to choose motor vehicles. This is what's going to trigger that hazardous. So if you do plan to transport motor vehicles, make sure you choose hazardous materials, and here you will have to choose motor vehicles, and later I'm gonna add more to this. And if not, you just choose, let's say you transport flatbed or you just transport general freight. When you're opening the company, I would just usually put general freight for the beginning for the insurance purposes, and later on I would switch it. I'm gonna explain about this in the next video about the mistakes that people do. So here's a big list, and this is what's insurance gonna see, and they're gonna ask you what you're gonna transport, and they wanna make sure that what you're asking insurance to provide coverage for, it's gonna be listed here too. Refrigerator, chemicals, beverages, construction, and so on. Next. So here we have again breakdown of everything we chose. You just go through this and we go next. Vehicles. FMCSA need to capture some details regarding the motor vehicles you plan to operate. So ask us to provide the number of non-CMVs the applicant plans to operate. So basically not commercial motor vehicles that are not weighing more than 10,000 pounds. Usually it's a 0 because usually you operate the vehicles that are more than 10,000 pounds. So here we're going to choose what do you have, if it's owned, leased, or tow drive away. So here I will choose one owned truck and one owned trailer, and everything else will have to be zeros. And 0, right here. We can go next now. Here, usually I choose here 0 because most of the company that I opened before, they did not operate in Canada or Mexico, but also, again, depends on your operation, and from later on you can change this. Please provide a number of commercial motor vehicles the applicant will operate solely interstate. So basically across the state lines. Here I will put 1. Intrastate, only inside the state. Here I put 0 because usually drivers operate across the state lines. So here again, it's breaking down everything. It looks good for you. We'll press next. FMCSA need to capture some details about the drivers. Let's go. What is the number of drivers who will operate as interstate? So I'm gonna put 1 beyond 100 miles a radius. So across the state line, and 0 here. Again, here it depends on your operation, but usually your drivers will go interstate. That's why this is a setup that I'm choosing. Intrastate, 0 and 0. Only if you're, so usually if you are transporting all over the states, you're gonna place zeros here. What are the number of drivers with CDLs or valid Canadian license? So it's going to be 1 here. If it's a semi-truck, 80,000 pounds, it's going to be 1. What are the number of drivers who operate in Canada and Mexico? I'm going to press zeros here. Next. So here's a summary again. This is going to let you catch up if there's anything missing. FMCSA need to ask you a few additional questions to determine financial responsibility. So they are trying to see what kind of insurance you need on file. Now, in the operation classification of this application, I specified that entity will be transporting property interstate and for compensation. Will any of this property get transported in the vehicles more than 10,000 pounds? Yes, it's going to be 80 max. FMCSA has determined that the applicant will operate for hire, correct, Carrier General Freight. Correct. The company estimated financial responsibility of a minimum bodily injury and property damage liability is $750,000. That's correct. You will need the $750,000 liability insurance to get posted on FMCSA and have an active company MC and DOT number running. So next, affiliations with other. This is extremely important. FMCSA needs to capture some details regarding the entity's relationship with any other FMCSA regulated entities. If you ever was listed on any other company, you will have to provide this information. Or let's say you already are an owner of another company. If you do not, they can possibly link two CDOT numbers together, which will hurt if you, let's say, have an active company already running and they're gonna link another company to it, which will confuse the brokers big time, and I would never recommend doing that. But let's say if you do have another company but it's running under it's doing a different type of business. So let's say you're opening a company for hauling the cars here and another company is a drive-in freight only. If you can explain that those are different entities and they do different type of job, you can just put here that you do have affiliation, press yes, and then you're gonna fill out the information for another company and they will not link these two MCDOT numbers. But the question states like this: does the applicant currently have or has had within the last 3 years of the date of filing this application relationship involving common stock, common ownership, common management, common control, or familiar relationship, or any other person or applicant for registration? So if you press yes, you will have to enter that company. And let's say if the audit gets triggered on your company, they might look on that other company too that you're affiliated with. And if you press no, the question is off the table. But if the system, let's say you are lying on the application, they can locate the second company and they can link two accounts together, which can put you in risk with the brokers and working with both companies. So here's a summary. This is quick. Certification statement: the response is provided to the application by the applicant. You must certify. We're certifying. Let's put John Smith, and we're gonna put applicant's first and last name as a signature, and title. Remember this title because usually when you have to reset the FMCSA PIN that you're gonna get after opening MCDOT, when you're resetting it, let's say you lost it or you forgot it, they're gonna ask the title there. So let's press next. And compliance certification: by signing this certification, you certify official is on notice that the representations made are subject to verification through inspection of United States. Failure to support the presentation contained in the application could form the basis of proceduring to access civil penalties. We understand. Next. And does the applicant certify and willing to provide proposed operation or services to comply with all their statutory and regulatory requirements? Of course, yes, I certify. There is no other option here, so you will have to certify to go through this. Certify billing procedure for review. Yes, we certify. So, does the applicant certify it's not currently disqualified from operating a CMV? Yes, I certify. Does the applicant certify it understands that the agent for the service or process designation will be deemed the application official representatives? Yes, I certify. Certify that is not prohibiting from filing the application because FMCSA registration is currently under suspension? Yes, I certify. And if the applicant registration is currently revoked, applicant certified the revocation have been corrected? Yes, I certify. And here again, we are entering John Smith, the name of the owner of the company. And here again, we're going through the summary. I really love this because you can check for your mistakes. And applicant's oath. This is important. We will have to go through this. So here is John Smith, and we enter the Smith and the title. President. Okay, perfect. So after you complete this identity verification, it's going to ask you to scan your driving license in that verification process and also take a photo in the real time of your face, and it's going to compare your driving license passport to your photo and verify your identity. This prevents FMCSA from getting scam companies open, which I think is great. So here, after identity was verified, you click to proceed. Has been successfully completed, please press next. And let's go. So right now, the FMCSA determined that the applicant will operate for hire, property carry, general freight. To proceed with submitting, the application's fee is $300. It's a regular FMCSA fee for brokerage or carrier. Let's press next. FMCSA does not refund filing fees. Your filing fees must be payable by electronic fund transfer or approved credit card. And if you're registering for brokerage and carrier, it's going to charge you $600, which we are not doing. And FMCSA will not process an applicant's application until the payment has been received, which is great. Creation of FMCSA application does not guarantee access to FMCSA portal account. Portal account sometimes is tricky, but we'll get to it. So we're gonna press next, and here we're gonna enter all the card information. Then you're gonna put again John Smith, and you're gonna press submit and create this trucking company. After that, you're gonna see on the screen that you have been assigned a DOT number, and here you're gonna be able to print your current page and print all the summary. So I usually do this just to make sure we know what information we entered on the application. So here I would say print all summary of HTML. So after this, when you click submit the payment, you're gonna get your DOT number, and you're not gonna see your MC number for a while, which means you're not gonna see it on FMCSA website until you get insurance posted. But let's say the agent that's gonna do your insurance, they're gonna see it right away and they can give you that number right away. You're also gonna get MC certificate by mail, which will allow you to save it, because that MC certificate will have to be in the binder of the truck, in the truck book for the driver. So you're gonna get it by mail, and also your agent can see it right away. So a couple things after this. In 24 hours, your application will be posted online on this FMCSA Safer website, which will make it a public record. That's how all those people who's gonna call, they're gonna get your number and they can call, email, text you, do all those things, because it's a public record. So let's try to look up the company Swift. We all know Swift. So I'll choose a random company. So here you can see an example. Here's a company that does not have insurance. This is DOT is active, right? It's not suspending nothing, but it's not authorized. That means this company does not have active insurance. But all this information becomes public. It's a new MC. You cannot see MC number here because it's new and it doesn't have insurance. It's going to be posted here only after you get an insurance for $750,000 liability. Also on this website, for your reference, you can check, let's say in the future, quick trick, if you got an accident and you know company's DOT number, and let's say they don't want to provide you an accident, or they don't want to provide you an insurance, you can check here in licensing and insurance, choose that I'm not a robot, let's see, bus. And here you're gonna put HTML, and you're gonna see the information of this company, which is insurance required $750, the same as we did with you, and insurance on file is $0, which means they have not get an insurance. BOC filing is posted. I'm gonna show you this in the next video, and the agency that posted the BOC. And here we can see active pending insurance. But yeah, so here you can see that there was no insurance issued yet, and they basically never had any insurance. And by the way, I just saw you can see a docket number here, which is your MC number without 01760977 for this particular company. So here you go, there's an active DOT number, and here you can see that it's authorized for property and you can see their MC number. And if you go in licensing and insurance here, and we go next, we can definitely see here insurance on file 5 million, insurance required 750,000. Sometimes you might get a problem with the brokers or insurance because they do not like the difference right here. So I'm gonna put down under this video a short instructions how to change the insurance required, because sometimes your insurance on file will be 1 million. Let's say if you hold Amazon, or if you hold cars, or if you hold some special equipment, and the insurance required will be 750, and some insurance company like Progressive will not like it and they will ask you to change it. Otherwise they just put you into cancellation. So be extremely careful with this kind of issues. What you have to do is to email FMCSA with a short letter saying that we are holding this type of cargo. Please make sure that insurance required on file is 1 million, and they're gonna manually change it in the system, which will match your insurance. The same, let's say if you had 1 million of coverage and insurance required, it says 1 million, and suddenly you're changing to 750, it will trigger your policy. It might trigger your policy into cancellation. With Progressive, it will trigger. So make sure you change it on time when you open a trucking company and you post those filings, your agent, because sometimes there's a lot of agents who knows this, but there's going to be an agent who miss it, and you don't want to be in the situation when you have to reinstate the filings. No, it will place a gap in your MC history. And also you can see here, you see active pending insurance, the Zurich American, and let's say if you got an accident and you're looking for that company's insurance, here's a policy number, and if you press on it, you get their phone number so you can call and report the claim. Usually it doesn't go here in this video, but usually I call the company right away and I see what they say. If they are denying, and if they are not being cooperative, I'm reporting it to insurance right away. And here you can see authority history. So their their history of MC was granted in 12/7/2011. So they have already 16 years of experience, will be 15. Not bad. So that's all for today, basically. Congratulations on opening your first MC-DOT number. If you have any questions, you can leave a comment below or reach out to me on Telegram and I can assist you with your question. I hope this video was helpful for you, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.